For the second year in a row, after the school year ends and the noise of the chaotic hallways slowly fades away, Walden School is anything but an uneventful campus. It becomes a place of discovery, creativity, and wonder. Over the span of 3 weeks, Walden transformed its campus into a reader's theater, a training facility for many cheerleaders, a scientific laboratory, art and broadcast studios, as well as offering a variety of other sports and academics. In all, Walden collected over 90 campers. That's 3 times as many campers as from its first year, so it just keeps growing. One of the most well-attended camps is Mr. Webb's science camp. Over the 3 weeks, he covered the sights, sounds, and smells of chemistry, energy, and electricity, and taught campers how to think like Einstein. He says allowing each camper to conduct his or her own experiment really sparks an understanding of the concepts.
It's always hands-on, and it's always reinforcing some aspect that we're talking about, and each person does their own experiment.
While some campers have been learning science, others have taken a different path. Mrs. Perrin has taught several lower schoolers to be a bit more creative with both their reading and acting skills in reader's theater.
Well, first of all, we want to have fun, so I think we're definitely accomplishing that so far. During the time when we're working on our script, we're working on reading fluency, we're working on expression and pace and volume. So we're working on reading skills, but all the same time we're having fun. So it's really a cool thing.
Perrin's camp schedule does not only consist of reader's theater, she has also taught numerous young campers cheerleading. Perrin claims that teaching this at a young age can help these students be more successful cheerleaders throughout their lives.
I think we are building these little ones so they'll be ready for the middle school and high school team. So, yeah.
And even at this young age, these campers already are clearly quite enthusiastic about their talent.
Let's get fired up! Let's get fired up!
On a different note, Miss Sorise and JP have both been the leaders of a broadcasting camp for middle and high schoolers. JP mentions that he enjoys watching the campers learn about the various aspects of broadcasting.
I think my favorite part about the camp so far is watching all the students really grasp something. I think it's really neat how, you know, in one little lesson, these kids are all so bright, and I feel like, you know, and they take one little lesson and then they instantly just kind of pick it up and then run with it. And to be honest with you, I have, you know, editors teaching me little tricks that I didn't know.
Sorise believes the camp will help expand Walden's awareness of local events and give students a much-needed voice.
I think that it'll be a great thing for Walden. I think that having a news team will only make the school more strong. I think it will only help to create a greater sense of community than what we already have.
Meanwhile, Ms. Hinsey has organized a camp for young artists to further use their creativity. She considers this a way for the campers to express their feelings.
I just think it's really nice for kids to be able to get an extra creative outlet in the summertime instead of just always being at the pool. Just kind of open up their thoughts and kind of explore their summers via a more tangible way of articulating their summertime.
So clearly Walden was a busy and exciting place this past summer. With art, sports, academics, and creativity at the forefront, our many students are ready to begin the journey of a new school year. For WSNT, this is Caleb Goldberg reporting.
Hello everyone, this is Andrew Wagner from WSNT. Today I'm interviewing Doug Profit, an anchor from WHAS here in Louisville. So Doug, when did you decide you wanted to be a journalist? Was there like a bolt from the blue that just kind of sparked in your mind? I just want to be a journalist.
Well, Andrew, thanks for having me here. I appreciate it. It's nice meeting you. I was about, how old are you?
I am 12.
12. I was about your age, 11, 12, and I grew up watching the news in Louisville and watching my dad. You know, back in those days, you watched one real central figure every night at 6:30, and his name was Walter Cronkite from CBS News, and we watched him. And he opened up the world to everybody back then. He was a fascinating character, and so I watched him every night along with my dad, and we'd talk about the news. So I wanted to be a journalist at that time. At least I was curious about it, and I wanted to figure out what it was like. So when I was 16 at Walden, I got an internship at Channel 11, and then started learning right away that it would be a lot of hard work, but that it could pay off. So I started working very young toward that goal.
So when you saw like how important that was, you kind of thought, I really need to bring this to Walden, and that's kind of when you started the Walden journalism team?
Well, we sort of started the Walden journalism team before I got my internship because I really was interested in it. And I turned to the school and said, I really want to pursue this. And they said, well, why don't we start something here at school first until you get what you really want to do. And that's how that happened. So the Walden journalism team, I think, goes back to 1978, 79, one of those 2 years. That's when it got started.
So can you just describe a normal day of at WHAS, an evening news anchor?
Well, I work the night shift, which means I come in at about 2 o'clock. I get up early in the morning. I am at home and I read. I still get the newspaper, but I go on my iPhone and I look at all my news accounts, and I look at the breaking news accounts, and I look at the major. I look at our website at WHAS11.com. I check my emails from the station to see what's been coming in, and then I get to work by about 2 o'clock. And then I start diving into the newscasts because we're in a computer system, and each newscast I anchor, 5, 5:36, and 11, has its own little slot, and we go through it and see what the stories are. I write many stories. I write a lot of the lead-ins. I do promotions for the station throughout the afternoon. And then I will sometimes shoot a story after I get off the air at 6:30. I'll go out in the community and shoot a story. Then I come back and I anchor the 11 o'clock news.
And one last question. Any advice for aspiring journalists, sort of like myself?
Yes. Always be curious. Listen, because you'll pick up on new things in either visually or in a conversation. Follow that conversation. Follow the story. Read as much as you can. Get as much out of life as you can. Always look at both sides. Don't always think that a story is black and white. There's always both sides to every story. Whether, and I tell you this, whether you grow up in a house that is Democrat or Republican or independent, it doesn't matter what your influences are. If you're going to be a journalist, you must always look at both sides. Okay? You always want to get both sides of the story, no matter how you personally feel. That's very important.
Okay, so that's all the time we have. Thank you very much, Doug.
Is that all the time we have? Gosh, I enjoyed it so much.
Sports at Walden continue to grow and become an ever more vital part of the school experience. According to Athletic Director Jeff Lee, Walden Sports has added a new team to its roster.
Coming to the high school, we have high school soccer, which will be a fall sport. For winter, high school girls basketball, and for the spring, potentially we have both boys and girls middle school lacrosse. We're waiting to see what will happen with that, but we're hoping for the best.
As the new coach of the varsity high school soccer team, Nathan Pickock is very excited for this season.
It's always difficult to know with the first season going into a new program exactly how we're going to do. So we'll focus our goals on internal goals rather than external goals. We're going to focus on coming together as a team, supporting one another as a team, having a strong sense of teamwork and team identity. And then we're going to also focus on just trying to play good, skillful soccer.
The new high school's soccer team's first order of business is establishing team goals and honing in each player's skill set. Walden's middle school and high school volleyball teams were very successful last year. Middle school coach Miss Locke is excited about having a new high school volleyball coach and believes that the middle school team will be better than ever.
This season is going to be an amazing season because we have returning girls, we have an amazing talent pool, and the girls are trying and working very hard to do their best all of the time.
Our high school basketball coach, Kevin Manning, his first season this past year was one of the most successful seasons in Walden's history. He's hoping to capitalize on last year's success in the upcoming season.
I think by the end of the last year, they really grasped the hold of what I was trying to get at and enjoyed it. Winning's fun, that's just a fact. I hate to say that, but it's true. I have big expectations for them this year, more so than even last year.
Walden Sports is poised for a great year. Make sure to head out and support our student athletes. For WSNT, I'm Jack Pitchford reporting.
Welcome back, Walden. Andrew, Clay, and myself had the pleasure of speaking with various administrators over the summer, and they told us that Walden and its community are poised for many exciting new upgrades, ideas, and experiences during the 2014 to 2015 school year. Academic Dean Mrs. Elder explains this year's theme will be interdisciplinary based and rooted in community.
The spirit of next year's theme will be connecting, whether that's between divisions or connecting between academic disciplines or connecting with our community.
She adds that the theme will allow the entire school to become more connected. Next, I sat down with Mrs. Tyler, Walden's admissions director. She says last year's Carathon brought excellent publicity to the school, so much so that Walden now has a record number of students.
I'm really excited about Walden's enrollment opportunities, and especially for this year. I've been here 3 years, but I can tell you that this year, as admissions director, we will probably have the largest amount of new and recurring students ever in Walden's history. So I'm really excited about that.
Mrs. Tyler says that having such a great community of students, parents, and faculty makes the school a very easy sell. Thanks. Walden's head of school, Ned Southworth, also sat down to talk with us about the new 2014 to 2015 school year. He too was very excited about Walden's students raising over $10,000 at last year's Carathon. He was so moved by the school spirit that he has decided to add a second day of service for all students. So we will now have 2 days of service, one in the fall and one in the spring. Ned also spoke to the continued increase in the school's technology.
We just recently purchased and finished setting up an iPad cart for the lower school, so that's through our K through 4 classes, and that'll be something that's similar to the Chromebook carts that are used in the middle school, and in the high school we have the bring your own device program, obviously. So the idea is we're trying to get technology in the hands of all of our students, but we want it to be age appropriate. Getting younger students interacting with technology. The iPads are very hands-on, very intuitive.
He added that technology gives teachers the advantages that come with educational websites, activities, and numerous apps. Last but certainly not least, we all know that Walden could not function without the love, care, and dedication of Mrs. Fry and Maintenance Supervisor Joe Steinhauer. Mrs. Fry states that summers at Walden are very busy, and this past one was no exception.
The preparations that I have to do for the new school year entail a lot of information that I have to gather from parents so that we have contact numbers for emergencies. I have to pack up books because we are putting in a new system for ordering books for students this year. So this summer I am having to pack everything up and send it and ship it off to a company that we will now be dealing with. So it's a lot of labor work.
Meanwhile, Joe talked about what goes on behind the scenes and the extraordinary amount of work put into maintaining our lovely school.
Well, you have to have a pretty good knowledge of basically everything: electrical, plumbing, cleaning, stripping floors, painting.
This group of extremely talented and committed people are responsible for keeping this school, and therefore us, up and running after all these years. Thank you, and welcome back to Walden. For WSNT, this is Maya Joshi with Andrew Wagner and Clay Carlton reporting.